example 3, we're going to use another quick trick in multiplying. You may do this already just naturally without thinking about it. But when I multiply a plus b times a minus b, so notice the key, the two parentheses have exactly the same thing in the first and the second terms, but one of them's got the plus and one of them's got the minus in it. And when I multiply those, I'm going to multiply the a times a and get a squared. But when I do my outside, I get negative ab, and my inside, I get positive ab. So I don't have anything in the middle here. And I end up then with positive times negative is a negative b squared. So if you notice this pattern, where the same two terms are in both parentheses, but one's a plus and one's a minus, you can shortcut it a little bit. So these next examples have that situation. You can see the 4y's in the front of both of those. So that's going to be 16y squared. I have the minus and I have the plus. Then I have a negative one, positive one, so it's going to be minus 1. Outside and inside will make it 0. Example B, a little uglier, but this is going to be a nicer one. Notice again that the first terms are the same and that the second terms are the same. And then I've got the minus and the plus there to fit the pattern. So if that happens, I'm going to multiply the front one. So 9m n squared times n squared is m to the 4th. And it's going to be a minus. And then 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. C has exactly the same situation. Fronts are the same. The second terms are the same. I have a plus and a minus. So x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Positive times negative is negative 4y squared. And D, here's one of these longer ones again. But notice it's grouped. So here's one group. Here's my first term. And my first term are exactly alike. My second terms are alike, minus 1 and a plus 1. So that's going to eliminate the middle term. So I'm going to multiply the first times the first. So it's going to be 5x minus 2y squared minus 1 squared, which is 1. So when I use my squaring technique on this, so that's going to be 25x squared. I'm going to multiply it and get negative 10xy and double it. So minus 20xy. And then last term, it's going to be plus 4y squared. And then my minus 1 that's stuck on the end there. And again, I don't see any like terms. Okay, at this point, we're going to point out that multiplication and factoring, we know that multiplication and division are inverse operations, but when we're talking about polynomials, factoring is equivalent to division. So, for example, if I multiply 3x times x plus 5, I get 3x squared plus 15x. And if I were to take that 3x squared plus 15x and factor out the GCF, I would come back to 3x times x plus 5, which is the same thing. So when I multiply, I get one answer, and when I take that answer and factor, I go back to the original. Same thing, if I were to multiply this out with FOIL, x squared minus 4x plus 5x, that's plus x minus 20. If I were to take that and use our factoring techniques, which you know, but we're going to repeat in just a bit, and factor that, I would come back to this. So factoring is the inverse of multiplication. And to check factoring, what should you do? Yes, you should multiply to check to see if you get that answer, get the original problem back.